Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video about the markets. We're going to do a full market update. I live streamed the inflation rate live, which we'll also talk a little bit about in this video. But I just wanted to do a quick update on everything that's going on. There's actually quite a few altcoins that look quite interesting right now. And also one narrative that I wanted to scope out and talk about a little bit more with all of you. So that's what we'll do. I'll try to keep the video short and sweet, but you never know, right? We have quite a lot to talk about again. So let's get into it. Now, first of all, starting off with the fundamentals. I still think we need to get some, or at least I think the idea was still that we would get some more tariffs news. So I'm waiting for that. The market is waiting for that. That's not something I think you necessarily have to wait for. I mean, I think the market has already priced it in to a certain extent. And it's unlikely, I think, that we're going to see such massive tariffs again that are unexpected that will make the market crash again. Could be, but I think it's not likely. Now, like I said, what we had today is inflation rate data. The inflation rates across the board was higher than expected. So that's bad news. That means that the dollar strength index went up quite a bit, but even though that it's bad news, it's been a while since I've actually seen data that was bad all across the board. We can see that the dollar strength index so far is not turning bullish, right? So the dollar strength index, that's kind of the main or the best proxy you can actually keep an eye on to see if economic data actually matters or not. As long as this stays within the range that it's in right now, right here, we're fine, and we can still move up or down, or at least the market will not turn bearish. And with the market, I mean Bitcoin. And Bitcoin itself, that's the fundamentals. I mean, like I said, stock markets are kind of waiting for some sort of updates on the trade war as well. I'd say when we're taking a look at Bitcoin, it's actually reacting quite well to that whole area at 94, 93, 92,000. It was expected that we would drop down into that, right? I mean, if you watch my videos over the last week, it was always most likely after last week Tuesday hitting the top of the range here that we would drop down into that level. But I quite like what I see, all right? So the main support level we have is around 93,000. But the fact that we're actually gaining such strong support from something like 92,200, even though the stock market has bounced up less, I'd say. So there's actually some specific strength for crypto. I think that's a good thing, and I still think, and I said that in the live stream as well, I still think it's most likely that, yes, we will actually drop down lower here after dropping below this whole POC area between 98,500 and 96,500. So I still think that's most likely, but I do think the support level will hold. And if we drop down into that and we get some sort of a nice liquidity spike or liquidation spike to the downside, I think that will bring some amazing opportunities as well. So be ready for that. But ultimately, that is still my opinion on Bitcoin. I just think we've gotten a little bit more confirmation that we can actually hold the support, which is good news. Now, talking about before we talk about altcoins, quick update on XRP. There's not much to update, right? Unfortunately, because I would love to tell you all sorts of stories about XRP, but the story for XRP is also still that there's no major momentum or anything. The main support level is right here around 2.2 and 2.1. It's most likely we will still drop down into that until we get a bullish Bitcoin, or until we get some Ripple specific news that will push the price up. Now, before we talk about altcoins, first of all, the one thing that I wanted to talk about briefly for those of you who are new to the channel, if you don't know, I have my own Signal group in which I post all of my trades. I trade full time. I trade for a living. If you'd like to have my trades as signals, consider joining. We do live streams for the Signal group as well. We have 2 traders sending signals. We've onboarded another trader in January. And we just have a great community and a ton of education. And we have actually stayed very, very safe in the last 2 weeks. And we've even been profitable in the last 2 weeks. Which I don't think a lot of traders can say. So if you want to become a better trader, if you want some profitable trades, consider joining. But that's up to you. For now, let's talk a little bit more about altcoins, because the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and I've spoken about this before, and back then I was a little bit less bullish, but right now what we're seeing, or at least what it looks like, is the whole BNB narrative seems to become more real and real. All right, so what we're talking about now is the strength of the BNB chain ecosystem. And what you can see right now is that, first of all, BNB, so the Binance coin, has actually been able to break above the previous value area high at 627, and has broken above that on the daily time frame, is holding the breakout so far. But outside of that, ecosystem coins are also doing extremely well, right? So if you take a look at something like Cake, that is very bullish and is trying to get some sort of a breakout out of the previous range. Definitely want to keep your eyes on. And I would say BNX is also still very bullish. It's, again, on the daily, it's about to break above a massive key level here between 75 and 65 cents. So those two coins are kind of my main focus on right now outside of BNB. But there's some other coins and there's some meme coins on the BNB smart chain as well that I think are interesting. Definitely a narrative to watch. I would wait for the daily close and the volatility of today to kind of disappear. But if tomorrow BNB is still holding and this turns out to not be a fake out, like I said, I think especially BNX, Binary X, and Cake are massive opportunities, all right? Especially with meme coins on BNB doing better now, Cake is going to be one of the main benefactors of that. Now, outside of that, there were some altcoins that were performing a bit better. Ondo is still interesting, but it's still in its range, right? So there's not much we can really say about that until it actually breaks out, but it's a great altcoin to accumulate. Here you can also see BNB that is actually doing quite well in comparison to other altcoins. Litecoin is still quite strong. All right, so if Litecoin is able to close like this on the 4-hour time frame, I'd say a buy is actually a possibility, although it's a bit risky with the current market circumstances. Sonic is also showing some bullish momentum, even though it's very leveraged. So again, with this, even though I do think it's worth it to keep an eye on Sonic, I'd be a little bit careful. I mean, you can see it's just one big fat candle of leverage, which is never amazing. But definitely want to keep your eyes on. What more do we have? Let me quickly see if there was anything other that's interesting. No, that's it. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. Those altcoins look great. That BNB narrative looks great. Keep your eyes on those. I will keep you updated on those as well. For now, that is what I think you need to know. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.